Welcome to case study number 7. In this video, we are going to model a cosmetic brush. Let me grab the reference image real quick. Come in here, select the reference image, Shift S to selection the cursor, and then just drag the thing up. As you can see here, this is a typical cosmetic brush, but with a little bit twist. Usually for the cosmetic brush, it's usually kind of like a cylinder, but for this one, it looks a little bit flat. It also has some holes on the top. It also have some sewing lines on the top of it. So this is a little bit challenging, and also that's the reason why I wanted to make this as a case study to show you guys how to do this. Well, let's get started. Select the reference image and go to image settings, and we're gonna dial down the opacity a little bit. And this one is going to be a pretty easy to do. We're just gonna and dial down the opacity a little bit. I think 0.7 should be fine. And then we're gonna do Shift A to add a. But this time I think cylinder still works. And I'm just going to go with the cylinder, but for this time I'm probably gonna change the cylinder size for 18, so I still don't want a whole lot of vertices for this guy. So hit shrink down a little bit in here, and then let's position the reference image. Okay, going in here, shrink it down. What I would do, select this. Go to the tab, edit mode, Alt Z, extrude mode, and just grab this thing up, and this as well in here. I'm gonna drag up into here, and then I'm gonna hit the E and Z to extrude more, and then here hit S to scale it down in here, and then Control R to adding a loop cut, and S to scale it up right here, and then we can actually getting a couple more loop cuts to getting the round curvatures going on here. Control R, S to scale up. But you notice from this front view it looks okay, but on the side view, because we only have one single reference image, and for the side view this one is supposed to be a flat. So what I will do next, I'm gonna select this whole body, okay, and go to the side view. I'm just going to eyeballing to scale around y-axis, kind of make it smaller. Hit S, Y, and just scale it down. It's kind of looks about that shape. Yeah, roughly about that shape, and yeah, should be good. And same time, let me see, I think SY scale down a little bit more. I don't think it was that thick. Okay, so good. Alt Z, go to the extrude mode, select the top vertices, and then we're gonna hit SX, just kind of get that angle correct, drag it down here. And then you start noticing that we have a couple kind of curves going on here. So what I would do here, I'm gonna hit E, Z, come up, stop around here, and hit E and Z, go up in here. Okay, so we are right now, although there's very early stage, but we are actually need to start thinking about planning to having all these holes in here, because later on we are going to have actually cutting the hole in the geometries and then to building the sewing lines with it. So that's something we need to keep in mind, and then we need adding enough vertices to kind of cover that geometry. So I'm just intentionally moving things up, and just to see we should be okay with all these current situations. So I'm gonna just click this whole loop, hit G to double G to slide it over here, and this, and then we should be looking good now. And then right now go to the top view, and now I'm gonna hit the I key to insert it, and then I don't know how thick this thing's supposed to be, but I think it should be enough, and hit the E and Z to push it down, and hit EZ to push it one more time, and then hit the I insert key to get it inserted. If we come out the edit mode, should be fine. See here, and looking okay. And I'm just going to select this inner loop, Alt click, hit double G to grab it, kind of slide up, because once we apply the subsurface modifier, the shape is going to be gone very quick. Same thing, Control R to adding one, just double G to grab it to getting some support loop. And then we are going to add a subsurface modifier right now. Hit Control 2 to adding a subsurface modifier. In here you can check it, and then looking fine. And then if I go to the edit mode, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I need adding any support loop, because we already did one, so looking pretty good. I'm thinking probably I want adding a one loop on the edge. Control R, click, and that looks good, and it's good enough. I don't need adding too much. And for the bottom part, looks fine. And for the very bottom face, it's ungone, so I probably just gonna hit insert I to insert it, and then just getting in here, just adding a tiny loop so it looks a little bit flat down here, so it looks nice. Okay, and anything else, see like this. It feels like we get some volume lost because this is a big long edge, so I'm going to adding some support loop to recover this edge. So what I will do here, Control R to adding a loop cut, and scroll the middle mouse wheel, just kind of adding couple more loop cut here, click, right click, and then should be good. It's much better. And then what I would do, Control R, just doing another one, just kind of move down here to giving some support in here. So now the body should be pretty good by now. Next thing I will need to do is actually cutting the holes on the designated areas. For this part, it can be a little bit tricky, but we will have I will play around with it. So before we're actually going in there, you see we have a front, and also we need to have a hole in the back in order to get things done much efficient way. So I'm actually going to use a mirror modifier. So by doing that, I'm just going to adding a loop cut in the side, Control R, adding that. And then once I have this loop cut, same here, Control R to adding a loop cut. Okay. Then what I would do next, going here, I'm going to temporarily disable the reference image and also disable the subsurface modifier, and we're going to select this one. We're going to select this vertex and go the other side at this vertex and hit J to join them, J, and then that's good. And same thing on the back end, and I'm gonna select this vertex and with this one, I hit J to join them. Okay, now if I go to the top view, go to the X-ray mode in here, I can just drag a box to select this part. Okay, and looking good. All the vertices on the other side is being selected. I just want to double check, making sure I did. Then what I would do next, I can hit X to delete all the vertices. And then what I would do, adding a modifier, like do a mirror modifier. And then this time I'm gonna making sure it's go along the y-axis. So this is exactly what we want. And also I need to move the mirror modifier above the subsurface modifier, because we want to do mirror first and then do subsurf. Okay, so do that. We can enable that. At the same time, we can also enable the clipping on the mirror. So let's go edit mode. So looking good. So what's going to happen is whatever I do on the one side, hit G, just demonstrating, is going to happen on the other side. So that will be easier and more accurate when we're cutting the actual holes on the brush body. Okay, then let's enable the reference image, and then also let's go start selecting the loop And selecting this one, you see the 2 holes is down here. So what I would do here, select this loop, and I just hit double G to kind of slide over there. This one as well, double G, slide over there. This one, double G to slide over there. I think these are fine. And for this side, I would just select this loop and making sure to see the reference image a bit better. So I'm gonna go in here, tab out, go to the reference image, and then just making the visibility a little bit better, so I know, okay, this is the actual hole for that. And then go to the edit mode, so I can select this loop, hit double G to slide over here, and good. This one, same thing, double G to slide over here, and with this guy, okay, right there, double G to slide over here. So far it's looking good. So what I will do next, I'm going to adding some geometries in order to helping this vertices to cutting a hole through them easily or more accurate. So that this time I can simply temporarily disable the reference image. Let's go adding more geometries. So for the geometry wise, we're going to adding a couple loop cut. Okay, Control R to adding a loop cut, and then I'm gonna move it down here, double G to move it down here, Control R in here, double G to move up. Okay, Control R in here, same thing, Control R in here. Okay, after adding these 2 loop cuts, and I'm gonna give you a little bit demonstrations and show you how to adding holes on any parts of the body. I'm gonna show you how using a plane. Oh, you don't need to model this part. This is just for explanation. Okay, so what I would do, Shift A to adding a plane and hit RX 90 degrees, just kind of grabbing in here. What I'm looking for right now, so I'm going to do Control R to adding a loop cut, Control R to adding a loop cut. So I'm looking for something like this shape. If I'm selecting the center vertices and Control B and V, and I can actually kind of bevel the vertices. At the same time, if I can just adding more vertices by scrolling the middle mouse wheel, so I'm adding this shape. So remember, this is the shape that you want, and also these vertices are the ones that is going to support your hole. And then next, what I'm gonna do here, I can select all these, and then we have this, right? And then go to the edit mode. We're just going to getting all that, and hit right click loop tool and make a circle. Now it's a circle shape, and I can hit S to scale it up. Next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna link some edges, because right now you see this is the ngong, so we don't want to do that. So we're just gonna select these 2, hit J to do so. In order to getting all the quads, hit J to join them. So now this is the perfect one. So once we apply the subsurface modifier to this center one, we can just select, hit number 3 to select the face direction. So we can just gonna E, Y, E, E, Y. You see, this is, we are kind of having a hole right here. And if I'm actually going to do a subsurface modifier, Control 2, select this one, Control 2, so it's perfectly fine. That's going to happen, how it works, okay? This is a very simple version of what we're going to do next. So we're gonna utilizing this kind of method to apply on this body, okay? So I'm gonna hide this right here and select the cylinder. And what we do here, edit mode, go to the number 1 vertices selection mode, and then what we can do here, we can enable the reference image, Alt Z, to see what it goes. So right now you can see here we have this, but this is not really a square shape. It's not a very even space. So we are going to adding some support loops over here. So like what we did in here, because the one we use was a perfect square, right? So we have these edges lines are the support geometries. So we're gonna do the same thing. So what do I do here? Select this body back in here, edit mode. So I'm going to add some loop cuts, okay, and Control R, adding one here, Control R in here, same thing, R here, Control R in here. Okay, I'm just adding one by one, and I don't want to make it very confusing, but this is gonna how it goes, and gonna generating the best result that we want to have. So it's very quickly, we're just adding one of these. So what we'll do next, we are going to select the one that we want to bevel right here. These are the ones we want to bevel. So don't get confused. Right here, right? And even up here. So we can just do that. Same thing here. All these just the single vertices in here. And it should be good. We have mirror modifier for the other side, so we're good here. Next, we are going to we're going to hit Control B and the V key to bevel the vertice. So going up here, you see we have the star shape come out. You can scroll the middle mouse wheel. You can adding more or less, but this is the shape that we want. I'll continue grab it, and then when you scale it up to this side, it looks good. And right click. Now we'll see that on the menu. We don't need to do anything. Next, I'm gonna do right click and go to the loop tool, and then immediately go to circle. So now you see everything has become a circle, and hit S to scale it up. And now you see when I see S to scale up is scaling up is not individually as a unit, so it's scaling as a big unit. That's not what I want to do. I'm gonna change the setting over here to individual origins. So now if I hit S to scale, it's gonna scale out in the individual ones. This looks good by now. And also pay attention on that is the hole is not that big. I'm just trying to demonstrating what's going on here. So we're gonna shrink it down here a little bit and just getting that the one we want. Okay, so this is so far is good. So next what we're going to do here, go to side view and hit E and hit the Y, and it's gonna extrude along the Y axis. Okay, and okay, looking good. And hit EY one more time. It's kind of extruding inside a little bit more, and then we still going to hit I to insert it, every single one, to adding another support loop in the side. This doesn't need to be really go all the way to connecting to the other part, since we're going to adding a sewing lines anyway, so you won't see anything inside anyway, so there's no worry about that. So okay, hit tab, come out the edit mode, go to solid mode. You can see, well, that looks good. And in order to make it look more believable, we definitely need to have some kind of like shapes going on here, and also is according to the reference image, is it feels like things to be tightening up, and also we have some volume in here. So what I will do next, I'm going to select this loop cut and hit double G to grab it, kind of slide over here. And I know it's changed the shape a little bit, but that's all good. Same thing for this loop, double G to kind of push in down here, and this one, double G to push down here, double G to get up in here. Now what I would do, heading Control R, adding a loop, and hit S, and along the X axis, I'm just gonna scale it up a little bit, and we're having that volume. So we have something going on here, the curve, and same thing. We are going to do that. Control R to adding another loop cut in here, and hit S to scale up. Yeah, just adding some curvatures going on here. So what I would do next, like I said, we need to connect all these corners because they are not really a quad. So in order to having better geometries, this is what we need to do. For this part, it's a little bit boring, so we need to manually join them. Hit J to do that. For this one, hit J to join them. Same thing for here, hit J to join them. And if you feel this is a little bit difficult to see, you can disable the reference, you can disable the subsurface modifier temporarily. See this? And we can go select this body, go to the shade flat, so that will make it a little bit easier to see. And go to the edit mode again, and then we can just do that. Okay, in here, hit J to join them. So we're gonna repeating this procedures for a while, so I'm gonna speed up the video for this part. Okay. So now we are finished all these the edges. Should be good. Let's see what's going on when we turn on the subsurface modifier. Let's see. Shade smooth. Not too bad. Not too bad. We can certainly tighten things up with all these circle now. So I can do here, I just quickly adding some loop cut to support that. Control Alt, adding that. And just kind of push in a little bit. All right, so for now that looks good. You know, see. Next thing I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna select this loop, double G to slide up, and then I'm gonna hit the F key to getting this straight. So should be good in here, and also I'm gonna bump up the subsurface modifier a little bit more, so action making that looks a little bit smoother. Okay, so next thing we are going to do, we are going to creating the sewing line, and before that I'm actually just want to having this one SZ0 to kind of flatten things out, and hit SX to scale up a little bit. So I want to emphasize exaggerating this loop. SZ0 flatten out, SX just kind of getting that a little bigger. I want some curvatures going on here. Looks like something is tightening things up in here, so that's what we want. And can select this one, double G to move up a tiny bit. So I think this should be fine by now. So what I will do next, I'm going to adding a sewing lines over here. Let's select this, and what I would do for this trick, and I'm just going to select it for the existing geometries. So hit number 2. So I'm just gonna click here to hold it, and then you will see here is actually, if I disable the subsurface modifier, it actually go inside here a little bit. Then what I will do here, I'm gonna hold Alt and Shift, continue click, and just adding more lines over here. And as you can see here, this is not really continue because the inner part is not really a directly connect. This is perfectly what we want. So I'm just gonna continue adding these and utilizing these geometries that we already have in here. Same thing down here, and you will see the magic going on here. Select these, Alt, Shift, click, come down here, Alt, Shift, click, just continue finish this one. Okay, now we have all these vertices selected. Next thing we're going to do, Shift D to duplicate it, and right click to come back. And then what I would do here, hit the P key to separate it, and then come here, tap edit out. I keep saying sewing line, it's supposed to call it stitches. You know, English, this is not my first language. Apologies for that. So I'm going to name as stitches, S-T-I-T-C-H. Yeah, stitch. So that's going to happen in right here. So what I'm going to do next, I'm gonna hit the right click to convert it to curve. Okay, do that. And now it's a curve, it's no longer a mesh. So if I click this, and then on the right hand side we have a curve menu in here, so we can actually justify the shape of this curve. It's very cool. So what I would do next, we're gonna tap the geometry, then we're gonna go to the bevel, and then we can actually open it up you see if I'm dragging the depth, it's coming up with some volume. At the same time, I'm gonna hold the shift, just kind of dragging it slowly, and then we're adding all these. And at the same time, as you can see here, what's happening here is gonna go inside the hole perfectly, but the resolution looks too low, so I'm going to drag the resolution, make it look a little bit smoother. If I'm go right click, shade smooth, it looks much better by then. So I'm just going to justify the shape a little bit in order to make it look nice. Okay, so in here, let's see, you will have some kind of a bending come in here, but from the outside it looks just fine. And what I would do here, I'm gonna type that out and then come back in here. I'm gonna enable the subsurface modifier for the body, so we want to see what's going on here. So for this guy, I can actually do a subsurf. Let's see if I can do, although it's a curve, but yeah, you can do that. Okay, go to the curve settings, just do some little bit of manipulation on that. I think we can make a little bigger for its design, so because it's actually gonna cover that, right? And let's see the reference image real quick. Select the reference image, hit GX, see here. Yeah, it's roughly about that. So I'm going to make a little bit, shrink the size a little bit, and I think 16 looks okay to me. All right, so you definitely can play around with it, and probably don't need that much of reference. The resolutions, I think probably let's do 5. It'll be easier. Otherwise, you're adding way too much vertices for unnecessary geometries. It's gonna put more jobs on your renders, and also you won't see the difference either. So I think this is fine. And let's see what we can do. SZY, we can kind of tighten it up a little bit. This looks make it better. Well, I think it does. Okay, so maybe let's go bump up the volume a tiny bit. Maybe 1/8. Okay. Now it's a round shape. I think it's fine. What we can do here, we can actually change the stitches to a mesh. So before I do that, I just want to do a quick duplication. Shift the D to duplicate it, and hit the M to creating a folder. Back up. We're just gonna put there and there. Then what we can do here, right click, and then convert it to mesh. So now it's become a mesh. So which means it's going to generating and apply all the modifiers already for that. So there's nothing going on here. If I hit tab, you will see a lot of vertices in here now. So the reason I want to do this, I just want to getting a little bit more controls on the shape of it. So I'm going to select A to select everything else, and then I'm going to do the making sure this is still in the individual origin. So I can hit Z to kind of shrinking them down along the Z axis. I don't want them to look so fat like that way. So this is why I want to convert them into mesh. Okay, so I just want to put it in here, and that looks much better. Okay, cool. And so we're gonna just leave like this. So next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna building this inner part with the brush. Before I go in here, I wanted to adjusting the top part a little bit more, and go to the edit mode, tab, vertices, Alt Z. I want to open it up a little bit more. So select all these vertices, go in here, and I think hit SX, just open it up a tiny bit. I think this looks okay. And then what I will do next is I'm going to building the inner geometries and getting the hairs come out. Okay, so cool. The hairs is not going to directly come out from this body, so we need to have some geometries put inside of this one. So what I will do next, I'm gonna do adding some geometries. For this time, this is just my method, and you have already seen it before. I'm just going to add a Shift A to add a actually a cube this time, because I just want to have the quad spheres going on here. And I'm gonna do control 3 times. Now you can see here, and then I just gonna hit apply, and then I'm gonna go edit mode, select everything else, and I'm gonna hit F3 to search a 2 sphere. Okay, go here, and then I'm just gonna drag all the way to 1. So now this is a perfect, the factor is 1, so this is a perfect quad sphere. Okay, so I wanted the hairs coming out using the quads, and also I'm trying to having even distribution on this one. So this is what my method. You can certainly do different. So I can shrink this thing down, hit G to grab it, come here, and then let's just kind of trying to fit the size a little bit from the front view, and this looks fine. Go to the side view. We definitely need to shrink it down a little bit. Also the curve for the hair is not going to be like this far, so I'm gonna do SZ to kind of scale it down, make it look very flat right here. I think this may looks good because I need some volume anyway. And then go to the side view, SY to just gonna shrink inside in here. And for this part, go to Alt Z. I'm actually going to select these vertices and delete them because I don't need them. Okay, so having those should be fine. And then I just gonna readjust the size. Okay, a little bit better. Top view, SY, kind of shrinking down while holding Shift key, just getting that into the body. Okay, as you can see here, it's inside the body, and I see this part is a little bit out. So what I would do, we can just go to top view and shrink it down. S and Y to just get that inside tucked in a little bit. SX. Okay, I think now it's all fit in here. Okay, so I think should be good. And then what I would do here, select this one and go to the edit mode, select everything. I think I'm just gonna grab it, and it's coming down a little bit more. So this is so far is good for me. I just going to adding one more subsurf modifier, control 1, one level should be fine, and again do a shade smooth. Now this is kind of like an inner core of there, and you guys just gonna getting hairs growing from the surface. And next I'm gonna quickly change this one to hair, and then go to the particle properties. Okay, select that, nothing happens here. I need to hit the plus key to adding a 1 particle system. The default setting for particle system is a meter, so next thing we need to change to the hair. Once you see the hairs come out, is boom. So that's a lot of hair, and this is very long. Next thing I need to do, just click and drag to make it shorter. Or according to the reference image, this looks okay. So 0.7, 0.57, that should be okay. The segment, I think 5 is okay. Maybe your default setting is a little bit different, but I think 5 is okay. And the number we're setting for 1,000. And so should be all right, and we can readjusting that. The next thing I'm gonna go, the setting is go to the children. So now we need adding children hair. So right now, basically, this works similar like what we're done parenting stuff. So this is the hair we're seeing right now. Is you can think about it, they're parent hair. So having children, so we just simply duplicate it or using these parent hair to control the children. So for this time, I'm gonna select the interpolated, and then that's just gonna looks okay. Or you can use a simple, whatever you want. But I think this one looks better for the majority of the time. And then you can see there we have a display mount or render mount. As you can see, there have 10 times difference. So for me, I just want to making sure what I see in the display is what I'm going to get on the render. So I'm just gonna sync these two numbers. And sometimes if you bound them up, these numbers too high, it's gonna be a little bit tough for your computer to calculate it when you're still in the modeling stage. Okay, so far we are good, and we can just keep going. And right now, as you can see here, we have some issues going on because we have some vertices down here. they actually, these, we have faces down here, they are generating the hairs coming out directly from there. So what I want to do, well, I just want to have this part to generating hair, not the bottom faces. So what I would do next, I'm just going to select all these vertices and adding a vertex group. Okay, going here, add a vertex group, add the plus key, and then I can just do hair, and then assign here. Okay, once I assign this, and I need to go back to the particle property, and down here there was one setting, is called vertex group. So in the density part, I just gonna plug in this vertex group, which means the hair is only growing out from these faces, and click and select hair. And then if I tap it out, control tab, go to the object mode, you will see what we're going to have here. You will see we have some hairs managed, control that, but we'll still have a pretty good volume of hairs going on here. But that is easy to fix, and certainly you see the shapes is not what we want. So next thing we need to do, we're gonna hit the control tab, go to the particle edit. So now you can see here, we can see we have more brushes or tools in here on the side. This is it's called comb. So basically this is working like a comb. So you can just kind of getting things straight and do. And also you can use a smooth tool, just simply just move it here. They can make everything straight. So this is pretty quick and fast. I can just quickly do this and everything is moving down here. As you can see here, for the empty, it's supposed to be like open it up a little bit more. So I'm gonna use the comb. Just going to adding some variations slowly. So this is required, I think this part requires a little bit hairs dressing skills. So this is also very enjoy moment to do, and it's kind of interesting. When you're working with the hair, you can do these type of thing. And let's turn off the reference image real quick and then see this one a little better. So what I want to do, I want to making sure everything, all the hairs kind of looks a little bit loosened up. At the same time, they're curving with a little bit of natural way. And this certainly need to spend more time to work with it. And if I enable the reference image, what we can do here, we can also using the cut tool to just kind of trim off some unnecessary length that you don't want, and just make that looks a little bit better. And trimming, so if I'm from side view, probably this might looks better in this way because it's kind of fade in. But if you have a tablet to do this, it'll be even better. And now what you can see here in the center, it looks a little bit shorter, and then you can having the add tool, just quickly just moving here, it's actually going to edit the length with it. Oh, you're gonna go to, then you're gonna go to the, as you can see here, the middle section is a little bit shorter now. What I can do here, I can just go select this lens tool and just clicking to actually let the hairs grow back a little bit. Pretty interesting, huh? So we can just do some changes around there and accordingly. Certainly, if you make this hair looks great, definitely spend some time. Also, you certainly can purchase some third-party add-on to kind of working with the hairs, and I would recommend that if you're doing a lot more products with hair. But this gonna certainly speed up your productions and also getting a better result. These are just the default tool that we have in here. I just want to show you how to use these in here. Okay, so just adding a little bit. Let's go out to the object mode, control tab, go to the object mode. I think so far it looks okay. Yes, so we can just do a couple more edits for the particle. I think F, this part a little bit not smooth, so I just gonna smooth things out a little bit. Okay, all right, not too bad. Okay, cool. So tab it out, control tab, go to the object mode. So we are good in here, and look around a little bit. I think this model looks very nice and ready to use. What I need to do next, of course, you know how to do a empty to build a cage, but before that, I just gonna quickly finish that. Select the body, control click stitches and hair, and hit M to do a new collections brush. And then you can click that and Shift A, adding empty, can do a cube, move it up here, SZ to scale it up, dragging down here, SZ, just move up here, SX, I go to side view, SY, shrink it down, okay, and then rename that, brush, empty, master, okay. Then what I need to do, I can hold control, click each one, and then the very last one, I'm gonna hit the control, click one more time to making sure this empty is selecting to be the bright yellow, and then control P and the parent to object. Now this case study is finished. Okay, so very nice and simple one, and hopefully you'll learn a lot, and I will see you in the next case study. Bye.